Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So today, unfortunately, Bitcoin went down further. The crash intensifies. And it's all leading up to the big Fed meeting that will be happening today. Well, the conclusion of that Fed meeting. Okay, the FOMC press conference is coming this afternoon. And everyone wants to know what Fed Chair Powell is going to say. So let's talk about what's going on with Bitcoin. Can it possibly fall further? And is this normal? All right, let's do it. Welcome, guys. Unfortunately, Bitcoin is a little bit lower than my stream last night. So we're at 57.6. We have unfortunately broken through that 60,000, and we had more liquidations happen. Massive amount of liquidations, massive amount of long squeezes happening. But the main thing is this, okay? What is Powell going to do? It's already basically baked in that today there will be no rate cut. There's a 0% chance of a rate cut. Okay. But when is the rate cut coming? Is it going to come at all because of the data that we have? So that is what everyone wants to know. So right around 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, there will be a press release. Okay, it's going to be pretty generic. And then around 1:30, that's when the FOMC meeting starts with the with Q&A, and that's when it'll get really interesting. And I may stream it. I'm undecided. I may stream it because it's so important to hear what he's saying this time around. And everyone is looking for some answers. And I don't know if he's going to have any good answers. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe the same as we've heard before. Okay, inflation is transitory and we have nothing to worry about, and he will do his thing and watch, the data as it comes in and make a decision on when to cut. Maybe it could be as simple as that. Or it could be a lot scarier and he's like, well, you know what? We don't think it's appropriate to cut 3 times this year. Let's decrease it to 2 or 1. That would be absolutely horrible if he said something like that. I don't know. It might be too early for that. But we will see. Okay? That is the big news of the day. Everyone's waiting for it. They want to know what he's going to say. Not so much if he's going to cut rates this time around. It's still at 5.5%. It's not going to go down. It's 0% chance he's cutting today. But when is he going to start cutting in the future? Okay, so that's the biggest thing. Now, what else is going on? Obviously, there's a washout that's happening right now. That's no good. And it's causing a panic. A lot of people are panicking right now, right? Even institutions are panicking. So if you look at Grayscale's outflow, it just never stops. The day before, on Monday, we thought it basically stopped at minus 25 million. Yesterday, minus 93 million. And I wonder what it's going to be today, because you just have a whole lot of scared people out there. And it looks like it includes some institutions now, because not only did Grayscale sell 93 million, unfortunately, we had Fidelity and Bitwise also sell 34 million each. So overall, yesterday was not a good day. 162 million outflow. Obviously, we still have a lot more inflow than outflow overall, but the outflow is starting to tick upwards. BlackRock, however, is holding strong. Larry Fink is like, no, I don't care. These sheep, we'll let them do what they want, but we are not selling at all. We are going to hold everything that we have. Okay, so unfortunately the FUD, just like I've said this before, FOMO affects everyone. FUD, unfortunately, does affect everyone as well, right? It's the opposite of FOMO. And it does seem like some institutions are getting cold feet right now. But I would say most that truly understand, the ones that truly understand what Bitcoin's about, they're not going anywhere. It's only the institutions that are like kind of like retail investors that don't quite understand. They're FOMO in only because they see everyone else does. They don't really understand, and that's why they're getting out. But yeah, I think that's the main reason. Unfortunately, we're getting more and more liquidations. Last night, I covered about 300 million in longs liquidated from last night to now because we dropped a little more. Now it's up to 450 million longs liquidated. And there's not that much volume to begin with. So for this, I guess this kind of volume of liquidations means that a lot of these were just like placed very long time ago, right? Like ones that's been ongoing for a while now. And of course, this is contributing a lot to our downfall because when you have a lot of liquidations, there's a massive amount of sell pressure on the market. And when there's weakness already, it's going to drive things downwards, right? We don't even see that many short liquidations anymore because almost everyone's just placing longs at this point, right? And it makes sense. But you got to be careful, guys. You got to be careful. I know it's fun. It's sometimes irresistible to just throw like a 20x long or whatever because you think it's going to go up. But these days, very, very, very volatile. You got to time it right. You got to know what you're doing. You got to decrease that leverage or just don't play with it at all. Okay, so just be careful. Be very careful there. But with all that said, okay, is Bitcoin going to go down further? And is what we're going through right now normal? Well, if you're looking at this from our very top of 73,000 all the way down to where we are right now, and this dropped to about 56,000, that's about a 23% retrace. Is 23% retrace normal? Well, I mean, just a few months ago, we had a 22%. And a few months before that, we had a 22%. A few months before that, we had 21%. And a few months before that, we had a 23%. So is this normal? It absolutely is normal. We have seen it many, 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 many times, even during this cycle. But I've shown many of these charts from previous cycles that actually show that, yeah, not only is this normal, there may be more coming and they may be even more volatility, okay? In previous cycles, we have seen 30% dips, 40% dips. This is absolutely normal in any cycle, especially during bull runs. It happens all the time, okay? Now, this is from Coinbase, by the way. Coinbase wants to remind us this is where we are in the cycle. And if you're a betting man and you look at all the previous cycles, this is a really good spot to be. But even Coinbase recognizes that there are a lot of drawdowns. Look at over here. There have been 5 bull markets. In an average bull market, you will have to survive the following to ride to the top. 6, 5 to 10% drawdowns, okay? 3, 10 to 20% drawdowns. 2, 20 to 30% drawdown. 1, 30 to 40% drawdown. And 1, 40 to 70% drawdown. Well, that is probably the tail end. Okay, 40 to 70%. That's crazy. But, you know, we still have at least 1, 30 to 40. And these 20 to 30%, we'll probably have a lot more, okay, than just 2. But in case you're wondering, this is where we are in this cycle versus previous cycles. And you could see how volatile previous cycles were. You could see a lot of the up and downs, right? So this is where we are. And if you actually look at the black line versus all the other lines, we actually have a lot less volatility than previous cycles. Okay, so again, this is normal. It's going to continue to happen, but don't let this scare you out of the market. Here's another reason why you should not come out of the market or be scared out of the market. This is according to stock to float. from plan B, okay? And we have just entered a deep blue area. And you could see from previous cycles, what comes after deep blue is the red. Red means the parabolic bull cycle have started, okay? Every single time. And the reason why we're here is because we had an April close of $60,000, which a lot of you guys would say, well, that's horrible. That's a down month, right? But in terms of monthly closes, that's actually really high. We haven't seen that, okay? This is actually really good. If you look at where we were in previous cycles versus now, we're doing way better, way better than before, okay? But, you know, in crypto, it seems like everything is forgotten within like a few days, right? But I think most people don't understand that we were in the 30s, yes, 30s, just a few months ago. It wasn't that long ago. We were still 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, okay? So, when in doubt, zoom out. I've always said that. When you zoom out and you look at this and you realize, okay, it's not so bad. And where we are heading to is going to be a lot better. And this is appropriate. 100 next, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350. By the time we're done with this cycle, Bitcoin will be at a level that will make you forget that we ever had all these 20% dips along the way. That's reality, okay? You're not going to remember all these 15, 20, 25% dips because they're irrelevant. They're the past, right? So, just a few more things. Here's something else that's looking at what happened in the last cycle versus now, especially after a halving event. Okay, in 2020, it was really bad. Pandemic, shutdowns. It seemed like the world was going to end, especially for Bitcoin. There was no way it was going to move. And guess what? After the halving event, Bitcoin actually had a pretty big dip. And then what happened after a dip? It never stopped and it kept going. Okay, and when it had that dip, it was around $13,000 and a dip below $10,000. So right now you could see basically the same period, right? We had a little dip. But that doesn't mean that this cycle is over, okay? That just means the cycle or the parabolic phase is about to come. So, pretty good. And here's another example, okay? If you want to look at bottoms, you want to look at where we are, right? When you zoom out, you're like, okay, we're moving according to plan. You know, we're hitting this trend line, right? And guess what happens afterwards? We continue upwards. There are just a lot of great things, okay? Even though, yes, the Fed Chair Powell is causing a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt right now, Bitcoin is still trending along, still very healthy, and still acting perfectly normal, all things considering. So definitely stay with Bitcoin. Do not get feared out of the market. You will regret it if you do leave the market, because soon enough, we will be at a new high. You're not even going to remember this. All right, that's pretty much it. Last two things, something that relates to BlackRock is their BUIDL, which is a RWA play, has become the largest on-chain money market fund, surpassing Franklin Templeton. But this relates to RWA because there are a lot of RWA plays that are doing very well, and they probably will continue to do well because big institutions also are coming in. And I saw this too. Fantom is joining Avalanche. They have come up with a a $6.5 million dev fund to basically draw in new safe meme coins onto Fantom. See, I told you guys, meme coins are going to be a big part of this cycle, and chains are now officially supporting them. That's fantastic. All right, that is pretty much it. Bitcoin at 57.5. I did notice something. It's interesting. I'll show you guys before I get in Q&A. So I'm zoomed in here on the 5-minute scale. But if you look at some of the L1s today, they have done really well. And I think it's because people are DCAing. For example, look at that. Look at Avalanche, right? Avalanche bounced off this 30, but it's recovering really nicely. Of course, compared to a few days ago, not so much. But considering today, look at Bitcoin's chart and look at Avalanche chart. And it's not just Avalanche, too. You look at Polygon. Polygon, man, they had a really good recovery from bottom. You have something like HBAR, too, that's doing pretty well. I'm showing you this because these are all L1s, and I do believe people are loading up right now. DCA. This is the right time to be doing so while we are low. Now, is there a chance that Bitcoin could go lower? Yes. But how much lower? I don't think that much more. Maybe another 10% to about 52,000, but maybe it doesn't happen. Maybe Powell says something good and we have a good reversal. But nevertheless, I think it's very, very encouraging that we're seeing some of these altcoins actually doing pretty good on a day like today, which I do believe shows that there are a lot of people taking advantage, buying the dip or DCAing today, and that's the right move. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to buy when others are fearful, okay? You're supposed to buy when things are low, not sky high. You're not supposed to FOMO into something. You're supposed to buy when others are selling. So that's pretty good. That's really good. All right, let's do some Q&A. All right, let's see. I'm gonna scroll up here. Venial says back to 52K and then up to 80K. I don't necessarily disagree. Five weekly red candles in a row is not normal during a bull run. Well, it's not normal to have 7 consecutive monthly candles, green candles, and we had that too. So yes, it's perfectly normal. Considering we had 7 straight green months, yes, having a down month is perfectly normal. All right. Cosmos season. You know what? Cosmos is one of those L1s that's also doing really well today. Actually, too well. It's like they're bucking the trend almost. So I don't know what's going on. But yeah, they did really well. They held really well. They didn't really come down. So good for Cosmos. And I was looking at ADA too. ADA did dip down this morning a lot. But, you know, it's also recovered okay. Let's just say okay for a day like today. let's see. Is this the end of the cycle? No, it is not the end. It is not the end by any means. You know, I get asked that every single time we have a dip. Where's that chart? Okay, here's one. Yeah, we just had a 23, let's just say 24% dip. Prior to that, we had a 22% dip. Prior to that, we had a 22% dip. Prior to that is a 21% dip. Prior to that is a 23% dip. And every time we have those dips, people ask me, is the run over? Are we ever going to form a new high? And the answer is no, the run is not over. And the second answer is yes, we will form a new high. You just have to be patient. I mean, look at this, okay? Up until 2024, all the way in 2023, we were still below 30,000. The beginning of the year in January, we were still in the 30,000 range. Even the beginning of March, we were still in the 30 to 40,000 range, okay? So not too long ago, we shot up to the moon. We were ahead of the cycle. If I had to argue, we were ahead because of the ETFs. Now we're retracing a little bit. It sucks, but it's important to remember that we have come up so much, so fast, and this is normal with every single cycle. Just because we go down 24% does not mean the cycle is over. Crypto report, big super chat. I appreciate that. Dave and Buster's is enabling gambling on blockchain. I have no idea. Dave and Buster's, they're not that good anymore. Every time I go, I regret going. The more you learn, the market... Wait. Shady says, the more you learn, the market, these dips are like Christmas, especially near payday. Those of you guys that have been in it for a while, okay, know that these are the times that drive a lot of people away. These are the times to be DCAing. That's really the bottom line. Domingo says, I actually bought more Bitcoin. Dips don't scare me. That's the right attitude, right? So this is why even when we were going up, what did I say? Have cash on the side. 20, 25, 30%. I've been saying that forever now, okay? Most people ignore that, but some people do listen and have that. If you have that 20, 25, 30% cash, it really is like Christmas right now. You can buy all of your favorite alts and Bitcoin. It's like you went back in time and now you're able to buy the dip right now. The problem most people have is they go all in, they don't have cash on the side, they're not able to take advantage, and that's where the problem lies, right? But use this as a lesson. So after we get back up, make sure you have a cash pile so that you can continue to buy the dips when they occur. And there will be more dips. There's no doubt as we go higher, there will be more dips. There always is. It never stops. Too bad, Crypto Report. You missed out. Jorge, thank you. Why is everyone so bullish at RWA if they ruin your life if CBDC comes in? You know what? Because RWA is not just supposed to be like tokenizing funds and treasuries and fiat. It's supposed to be tokenizing real world assets, which could be a number of things. But right now it's led by these like basic banks, okay, or asset managers. But really, you could tokenize anything. You could tokenize contracts. You could tokenize documents. You could tokenize collectibles, you know, or commodities. You could tokenize a whole lot. Music. I mean, seriously, go on and on and on. Orange Lambo, do you think the base ecosystem will catch up to Ethereum by next cycle? The thing is, yes and no. Base requires ETH to survive. Okay, so L2 like Base can never kill Ethereum. They need Ethereum. But in the meantime, can they get stronger? Most definitely. Well, unemployment, earnings, Friday, crave more dips. It depends. If unemployment skyrockets, Michelle, if the numbers are like much higher than anticipated or expected, then it could. But I think it really depends on what Powell says today. And if he says a nothing, like it becomes a nothing burger conference, I don't know what the markets go react like. I'm hoping it's not nothing burger. If he needs to peel off the Band-Aid, so just do it. It's better to do that than just like be vague and not give any guidance. Placebo, appreciate that. Sleth cloth. Cell cloth. Okay, thank you. Hold on until Sol's 5K. Not bad. Let's see. What do you think about Woo Network? I can't really give good guidance on it because they're not available in the US, but they're kind of like an all-in-one DeFi ecosystem. You could trade. They have their own terminal. They have like their own wallet. They have all this stuff, but not available in the US. I think they're okay. They survived the bear market. They were around in 2021, and they survived the bear market, so I think they're okay. CVS shares plummet 18% as healthcare company slashes profit outlook on higher medical costs. McDonald's yesterday said the same thing here. You know, consumers are starting to crack because of high inflation. A lot of bad forecasting. Meta also forecasted that future revenue will come in low. So I don't know. A lot of bad guidance. That's for sure. Have I heard of ChainSwap? Yes. It's actually the most promising DEX on Chainlink because it's using CCIP. It's like the biggest DEX on Chainlink, and I think it could do really well. I think it could do really well. Let me add last hour in here. There are some last hour still in the green. I think these are the ones that people are DCing into. The FOMC meeting, the press conference is going to start 1:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 2:30 Eastern Standard Time. But there will be like a press release. The press release is going to come out 30 minutes before. Mar says AMS 59K. Anything that sounds like that, AMS or AKS or whatever, those are all scams. All the scammers like flood the comments with them. And there are even some videos generated using me with AI talking about some crazy, stupid AMS tokens. Those are all fake, guys. Okay. There's no tokens that even have those symbols. They don't, it's not even like... It's not even plausible. So don't fall for any of those. Raw Venture says I earned about 15 to 20K on memes last year. We'll look at them again this year. Last year? Actually, earlier this year, memes were going nuts. And some of them are. Some of them are still holding pretty well, if I have to say. NMCT FOMC meeting is today. It's not tomorrow, it's today. So it started a new month. We'll see what Daddy Powell has to say about inflation, about slowness in the economy. What is his plan? How is he going to fix everything? I just don't know. I just don't know what he can say. Hopefully he says some good stuff. We don't want him to say some bad stuff. We don't need more bad news. Well, Solana's coming up. Slightly, that's good. Avalanche still ticking upwards. Matic is slowing down a little bit, but you got some of these. Let's look at like someone like FET, like AI Play still hasn't moved much. Render, okay. Near Protocol, not moving much. What about Stacks? Not moving much. Cosmos is still up there. ADA is starting to move. I mean, most of these patterns mimic Bitcoin, but today we have a few exceptions. A lot of these L1s are recovering a little bit better. Bread is on a nice discount. Bread is one that I'm not going to get into or support. Jason, I got into Kimball because of you. Just want to show my support. I'm not so sure that's a good thing, but I appreciate that. Vera Network. Never heard of Vera Network. $42 million. Build, test, run your own dApps at warp speed. Okay, it's another L1. It's an L1 among a million L1s out there. So I don't really know. When did they come out? They came out in 2023. Pretty much going sideways. They're holding. That's pretty impressive. They haven't really gone down. They're on Coinbase. Is their only one. They must have been incubated by Coinbase. Not the only one. They have Gate, but still. Yeah, they must be incubated by Coinbase. Okay, Shady. I don't believe that. I'll leave this up. This is where we are in the cycle. Daniel says, Fed will cut rates today as no one is expecting it. I would love for that to happen. I would love for that to happen. Crypto is the future. I appreciate that. Lightlink. Interesting name. Down 27%, under $1 million market cap. That's no good. Best probably not to look at that today. George, the people in the chat are very positive. You taught us well. You know, surprisingly, that's good. I guess it hasn't become that bad yet. Not to say it will. But yeah, it's always good to stream and have a good, lively chat. And one, you know, without like all the negative bears in there. And trust me, I've had a lot of those sessions before, and they're not enjoyable. Data dash, stop it. Even though I know that's a fake data dash. Rosan is asking, can someone give a quick review of the Hong Kong ETF? I don't have the numbers from yesterday, but the first day was actually quite good considering they still onboard about 200 million overall. I don't know what the numbers are for last night or for their morning. Oliver's asking price prediction on Gala. I can't really give you a good one because I'm not that bullish on Gala, to be honest. Okay, they are still like 99% off from the previous high, and they still have problems. And there are a lot of gaming companies coming out right now, a lot. So I don't know. You know, they're still holding at 1.2 billion. That's great, but look at where they were before. I don't know if they could get back to that. I really don't. They're so far off from it. Meme coin sats. I mean, it's just a meme coin. It's BRC20 meme coin. Not much to say about it. It's pretty high already. Stacks or Fetch is good buy right now. I think they're both good buys, Max. James asking, sand algo bags, hold them or trade for stronger projects. They're two of my biggest underperformers. You know, sometimes you just have to make a change, James. You have to make a decision. For me, I got off the sandbox bandwagon a long time ago, and I never truly like algo, so I don't hold either. Sly, last question. What should I add to my portfolio? I'm thinking Doge. Yeah, Doge is one I would never consider adding in my portfolio. So I don't know what you should add. You know, maybe more Sol, maybe a little Avalanche, maybe even Cardano if you like Cardano. Chainlink, you know, Near, there's a lot of great options out there. All right, guys, I'm gonna let you guys go. You know, don't be too discouraged. Let's see what Fed Chair Powell says during his FOMC meeting today, and I think I will stream. I have nothing going on, so I will stream it. So that'll be at 1:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we'll see what he says. Okay, in the meantime, stay strong, stay focused on the future, and I'll see you guys later.